Welcome to the Friday Sports Buzz. John Lewis along with John Spears from the Bissig Impact Sports Radio Network, voice of St. X football and basketball. And what a run the St. X had in that basketball tournament, huh?
Yeah, they got a great draw in the 7th region, won their last 10 games, got to the finals against Trinity. But as I said a couple weeks ago, very few teams were going to beat the Trinity Shamrocks this year. They haven't done it in the 7th region yet. We'll see what happens next week in the Sweet 16, but they've got to be the favorite to win it all.
It's amazing how far, and I know this pains you to probably talk about Trinity as a St. X guy, but it's amazing what Trinity has done basketball-wise, because remember what a big deal it was just a few years ago that they won the region, and now it's like they're the #1 team. It's amazing what they've done.
Well, in 2004 with Brian Brom,
right.
you might know that name.
Yeah, I heard that one before.
He helped lead them to their first Sweet 16 appearance. This will be their second. They lost in a quarterfinal in triple overtime to Mason County that year, and they'll start with Bullitt East, which is a 6th and 7th region matchup. I think they're too strong for the Chargers, quite frankly, and maybe a couple teams in there that can give them a game, but they're going to have to play poorly, I think, to lose in this Sweet 16. They're that good.
All right, and that's coming up.
And it does pain me.
It does pain you, I know. But you'll probably be at the Sweet 16, won't you?
I might try to get in a couple games.
All right. Speaking of Sweet 16, the girls' Sweet 16 going on. Quarterfinals tonight. Manual beat Montgomery County 71-33. Dunbar was a winner over Butler 70-52. Marion County just absolutely walloped Hopkinsville tonight 67-30. And Lincoln County beats McGoffin County 73-59, John. So the semifinals set for tomorrow. Who do you think is going to be in the semifinals and into the finals?
Well, I think Manual is a clear favorite.
#1 team.
#1 in the state with April Wilson. They're awful good. They've got 3 Division I players on that team. April, of course, is signed with Louisville. They're fantastic. Marion County, I saw them in the LIT, saw them beat Mercy with Epps.
Right.
And you got Anthony Epps' daughter. You got Tick Rogers from U of L's daughter. They've got 3 Division I players. So that sets up to be the final tomorrow night. If both of them take care of business tomorrow morning, I really, really like Manual's team. Stacy Pendleton. They've been to the edge of the mountain. They climbed to the edge, and I think it's just their year.
All right, we'll see the finals tomorrow and see if that plays out. Well, tonight playing out, it's kind of a retro basketball tournament as U of L wins. Cincinnati upsets Syracuse tonight in the Big East. So for the first time in a long time, U of L and Cincinnati will battle for a conference title.
Yeah, I think it's the uniforms, #1.
You think that's it?
Baylor beats Kansas. There are 3 teams wearing these new uniforms this weekend, John.
This is not Syracuse, by the way.
Baylor wore them. Cincinnati wore them to beat Syracuse today, and the Cards are wearing them. Now, this game tonight, they did what I've been saying, and people have been yelling for, and Rick Pitino's been yelling for. Get after it defensively, push the pace, make the other team play at your pace. We saw them not do that against Syracuse in South Florida late in the regular season. We saw them really not do it greatly against Seton Hall, but these last 2 nights, that guy right there, Peyton Siva, has been amazing. Gorgie Deng's been fantastic as well.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 areas for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
Floaters tonight, if you watch, so he's been working on some things, and Gorgie Deng, fantastic this whole tournament so far.
I mean, and offensively, what he has done recently. I mean, we saw the flashes, the blocks, the defensive prowess that he had and that he's developed. But now it seems like he's really developed maybe that mid-range shot and certainly going in strong to the basket.
And he didn't miss a shot tonight.
Right. What, 7 for 7, I think?
8 for 8.
8 for 8.
And
okay.
9's the record. I wish they could have got him another shot there at the end, but they couldn't. But his offense is what's scarily becoming good for the Cards. That's got to scare some teams out there.
You talked about the defense, too. And, you know, you can play defense all you want to. And this is what Jimmy and I talked about on the show today on radio. You can play defense all you want, but you got to turn that into offense. It's what they did last night in the win over Marquette. Of the 84 points they scored, 41 came off turnovers, came off putbacks. That's what you have to turn that defense into offense. And I felt like they did that again tonight against Notre Dame.
And part of it's demoralizing a team.
Sure.
Notre Dame had their heads down. They were sagging midway through the first half. Looked like they didn't even want to be on the floor at that point. You had the same thing with Marquette. Turned Marquette over a few times, and you saw guys hanging their heads. Marquette's a really good basketball team. But when you can turn them over like that, then you become a great basketball team because they kind of wilted under the pressure. Both teams the last 2 nights.
I think Marquette made a deadly mistake of trying to run with U of L. Notre Dame is not a running team. They tried to take the air out of the ball, I think, a few times. And as Pitino says, sometimes the other team dictates the tempo. But when U of L is able to dictate that tempo, we've seen what's happened in the last couple of games.
And Marquette, that's the only way they know how to play. That's the way they're going to play. And it's going to get them in trouble sometimes when they play a team like U of L.
If you want to get in on the conversation tonight, call the Goomer and Company Buzz line 964-2121. We're talking about U of L, Notre Dame. Also going to talk about UK, who had a kind of a surprising game today. IU losing to Wisconsin today, but I think it was 79-71, the final in the Big Ten tournament. Indiana obviously going to go on to the NCAA tournament, but they do it without Verdell Jones.
Yeah.
ACL injury for the senior. It's just, you talk about demoralizing. This is what now you have to figure, are the Hoosiers going to be down about this, or will they use this as a rallying point?
I think they were down today a little bit. Yeah. You can see them over on the sidelines, Verdell Jones. Now, Remy Abel from Eastern High School came in and did a terrific job today filling in for Verdell Jones, but he's not Verdell Jones.
Right.
It hurt him a lot, and Wisconsin came out and put a barrage on them early, and I think that knocked them down a little bit. Now, give them credit. They fought back. They were in the game midway through the second half, but lost to a good Wisconsin team. They've just got to regroup now. They'll be a 4 or 5 seed probably in the NCAA tournament, and they just have to get ready for that without Verdell Jones.
It's amazing what Tom Crean has done this year. We thought this might be the season they would have next year, but what he's done with this team this year, and then the recruits that he has coming in next year, I mean, we could see this all over again and maybe even better.
Well, Zeller's been better than anybody thought. He's very difficult to stop around the basket, and he's a good interior defender. They didn't have that at all last year, and he's come in and he's played like a senior, not like a freshman. And the other guys, including Verdell Jones, Christian Watford, Jordy Holes, those guys have all stepped up. He was terrific for a period again today. They all just do their jobs. And I think that's all Tom Crean asked them to do. Get after it and do your job. We'll be okay, and they have been so far.
Crean was certainly hurt with Verdell Jones. That's the kind of guy that Crean likes.
And it crushed him. You could tell in the post-game press conference yesterday, Tom Crean, near tears, very upset. They weren't saying it was an ACL, but they knew. Everybody knew it was a serious knee injury, and it's tough for a guy like that, a senior, to go out that way.
Yeah, that was confirmed today, and it's too bad because of what he went through for those first 3 years as Tom Crean came in, tried to rebuild this team, went through those seasons where they would win in single digits, and now this was his chance to go to the NCAA tournament. It's just not going to happen.
But don't count them out. Even though they lost Verdell Jones, I'm still putting them in the second weekend. You know, it's all still based on your draw, as always.
Absolutely.
But I'm still going to put them in the second weekend.
All right, we're going to have a lot of NCAA talk here, talk about U of L, talk about UK, and we're going to get your calls here. Call the Goomer and Company Buzz line, 964-2121. You're watching the Friday Sports Buzz from the iTech Studios. Stay with us.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 A's for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
Why should you consider Evangel Christian School? Evangel Christian School offers the highest level of education while teaching from a Christ-centered perspective. From grades K through 12, Evangel Christian School is developing leaders for tomorrow through the use of the latest in computer technology to a continued excellence shown through its teachers. So what are you waiting for? Make the decision today. Call for more information, 968-7744, or visit us online at evangelchristianschool.com.
Hi, if you missed the show this week, we're doing spring cleaning. We can help you get everything clean from your dog to your car, so check those values out. Plus, we're going to help you get your golf year started, the best one ever for 2012. It's all on our website, and don't forget about the kids. Sesame Street Live coming to town. We've got great deals on the show. Find them all on our website, shop21live.com, and don't forget to watch us Saturday mornings at 10.
21 Live, Kentuckiana's live local shopping show.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the Friday Sports Buzz from the iTech Studios. If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Goomer & Company Buzz line, 964-2121. John Lewis, along with John Spears from the Bissig Impact Group Radio Network. John, big UK fan, I know.
That's been rumored.
It's been rumored, all right.
I like to keep it neutral here.
Go ahead. I want to hear from a UK fan. Sure. All right. As a UK fan, what did you think today? UK, they win in a struggle against LSU 60-51 today in their first round of the SEC tournament.
Well, as any coach would say, a win is a win,
right,
and you're happy about that. They did struggle with the physicality of the game today. LSU got after them. They got Anthony Davis in foul trouble. I think there's two things you worry about as a Kentucky fan. Number one, you need Anthony Davis on the court.
Yep.
You don't want to get him in foul trouble because that's a game equalizer. The other thing is injuries. You don't want any of these guys to get hurt in the SEC tournament because the big picture is the big dance. But other than those two things, I think if you're a Kentucky fan, you're ecstatic about this season. Anthony Davis, though, he had 1 point in the first half, John. He finished with 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks. That's a pretty good effort for a half.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Again, 60-51 the final, so not up there in the 70s or 80s for UK, but they can win those kind of games. They had a bruising game against LSU before. That was the game that Malcolm White cheap shot at Anthony Davis and has since apologized. But we knew that it was probably going to be maybe a grind game, maybe a bruising game, and maybe something UK needed. I mean, do they need that kind of game?
Well, they've had a couple. Mississippi State
Right.
gave them one of those earlier in the year. They gave them a black eye, and Kentucky, instead of falling down, just got back up off the canvas and fought back. So the good thing about this team, as a fan, you know they can play run and gun. You know they can play half court. If they get knocked down, they're going to get back up. And with all those things, it's a team that's a championship caliber team.
Now, it didn't hurt that LSU shot 28% today. When you look at Hamilton,
No, it did.
Hamilton 1 for 12, Hickey 5 for 13, Stringer 4 for 16, Warren 6 for 15. Warren was their leading scorer.
And Storm Warren, all his were putbacks.
Right.
All of Hickey's were steals and layups. So they didn't hit an outside shot nearly the entire basketball game. They had trouble all night shooting the basketball. Now, Kentucky didn't shoot it any better. But if you watch all of these tournament games, in any tournament, the lower seed is always playing harder than
Sure.
the higher seed. They know there's more at stake. Purdue and Ohio State, for example. I watched a little bit of that tonight.
Good,
Purdue
yeah.
stayed in that game. Now, they ended up losing by 17, but they were in that game with 5 minutes to go because they were out-efforting Ohio State. And when you're looking at the end of your season against a team that's looking forward to the next tournament, it's advantage you because you're going to play harder, and when you're in LSU, you're going to play more physical.
You look at, say, for instance, Cincinnati beating Syracuse tonight. Syracuse probably going to be a 1 seed. Didn't really matter what happened tonight.
Right.
UK could have lost today, probably still going to be a 1 seed, probably still could have been the overall number 1 seed. Those lower seeds, this is what they need. I mean, Baylor beat Kansas. Now, obviously, both those guys are going to go to the tournament, but those lower seeds playing those higher seeds, it does mean more to them.
That game really surprised me because Kansas was still playing for that top line number 1
Yeah.
seed. And now they could easily drop to a 2. But it's a Kansas team that annihilated Baylor twice during the regular season. Everybody says it's hard to beat a good team 3 times. Well, Kansas found out how hard today.
Absolutely, they did. Let's go to the Goomer & Company Buzz line. It's 964-2121 if you want to get in on the conversation tonight here on the Friday Sports Buzz. Let's go to Terry. Hey, Terry.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I have 3 questions and a statement.
All right.
I think they played well tonight. I just wish they would cut down on the fouls and the turnovers. Now, the first question is, with the Big East got 3 teams leaving, who will you miss the most? Me, I go for Huggy Bear. And then secondly, with all the teams that are coming in new, will the Big East be the same? Or, you know, what's going to happen? And then third, I'm going to miss the Colts, Peyton Manning with the Colts. I guess I'll have to leave the Colts for a while and follow wherever he's at. That's it.
All right. Well, we are going to talk about Peyton Manning later in the show, but as far as who will you miss out of the Big East?
If you're U of L, you're going to miss Swapshire because he played pretty good these last few games, and he's not going to have a scholarship next year. Huggy Bear is the person you'll miss, but I think Syracuse is the team you're going to miss. Just a tradition in the Big East, not necessarily just a national basketball tradition, but in the Big East. Syracuse and Pitt, man, they're charter members. And with Jim Boeheim, the tradition up there, that's turned into a great rivalry. U of L had a great run until this year against Syracuse, and it's fun to beat them, and it's usually a fun game even when you lose to them.
Don't disagree, and I think Syracuse will be the team I miss. Pittsburgh really brought nothing to the table this year. Yeah. I just hate that the Big East is being broken up, and Terry brought up, I think, a good point here. It's not. I don't think it'll ever be the same.
Well, the basketball will never be the same.
Right.
The football will be okay. You know, you're adding a Temple, you're adding some other schools. Boise State in football will help. But the basketball is never going to be the same as it was just a couple of years ago. An unbelievable conference, the best conference for a few years, a great run for the Big East. They're probably going to get 9 or 10 teams in again this year. So
and for U of L, it won't matter. You're going to be in the Big 12 here in a couple of years anyway, probably. So.
We'll talk about that another time.
That's right. Speaking of big U of L fans, let's talk to Handsome Jimmy. How about it, Jimmy?
Hey, Sean. I'll tell you, I'm like both of y'all. I mean, Syracuse team. I hate losing out of the Big East, but like both y'all just said, we're going to be in the Big 12 in a couple more years anyway.
Doesn't matter. You're right.
And John, I got to tell you, both John, this tournament here is just off the chart. I mean, it's prime time. You get 18,000. I mean, if you're a recruit, like Dick Cronin said, how you don't want to play in this tournament? I mean, it's just off the chart. And John, I agree with you. The way Gorky and Peyton's playing, I mean, they're just playing lights out. And me and John talk about it on the radio show. I mean, Peyton is playing like we thought he would all year. He's finally healthy, I guess. And John, is there any doubt in your mind on the show today we talked about? Can we maybe get a 3 seed now? We win this tournament. I think definitely we got a 4. Can we get a 3? And Party, y'all got a great show, buddy.
All right, appreciate the call, Jimmy. You know, I think if they win the Big East tournament, if U of L wins the Big East tournament, which is not out of the realm of possibility now.
Not at all.
Maybe a 3 seed. I figure if they got to the final, they would be a 4 seed no matter what happens. Now I think Jimmy might be onto something. Maybe they are if they get to that 3 seed.
And you know, the funny thing is, if they lose to Seton Hall in that first round, in their first tournament game 2 nights ago, they're 5-5 in their last 10, lost 4 out of the last 5. They might be a 7.
Sure.
They're a 6, maybe even a 7. Now you are looking at 3 dead in the eye. If you go out tomorrow and you beat Cincinnati by double figures, I don't think there's any reason you're not a 3.
Right.
The winner of the Big East tournament, and Connecticut, let's go with them. They proved it last year. Yeah. They're a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, absolutely. Also, talking NCAA talk, Bellarmine taking on Lewis tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Now, if you don't have tickets, forget about it. Already sold out. Yeah. Sunday's already sold out. That Bellarmine has really come to life again after that NCAA championship last year. Last time out, they beat Lewis in the GLVC tournament, 82-62. They're playing them for a 4th time now.
It's hard to beat a good team 4 times, but I don't think it's going to be hard for Bellarmine to beat Lewis 4 times. And the interesting, great thing tonight after the U of L game on ESPN, Rick Pitino talking about playing Mick Cronin, talking about playing Kevin Willard. He brought up Scotty Davenport and was talking about Bellarmine on ESPN. I thought that was a fantastic, classy move by the coach.
All right, we're going to promise to talk about Peyton Manning and where he might end up next. We know where he's probably not going to end up next, and it'll be with the Washington Redskins. We'll tell you why. And if you want to get in again on the conversation, call us at 964-2121. You're watching the Friday Sports Buzz.
landscape of sports talk radio in Kentuckiana has changed in a big way. 1450 The Sports Buzz has the perfect blend of local shows and Patrick in the Mornings, and Yahoo Sports Radio, The Freak Show with John Renshaw, has made its triumphant return from 3 to 5 p.m. The afternoon Sports Buzz makes that drive home easier from 5 until 6 with Greg Brom, Rob Jones, Trevor Kelsey, and a slew of others. 1450 The Sports Buzz also has you covered with the biggest high school, college, and pro games every week. Sick of the same old watered-down sports talk? Look no further than 1450 The Sports Buzz.
I mean, it was so bad I would wake myself up.
I've tried everything.
Estimates suggest that as many as 73 million people in the U.S. have a snoring problem. What a shame, when the solution is so easy. Pure Sleep. Co-inventor Dr. Douglas Fenton explains how Pure Sleep works.
Snoring occurs when your airway relaxes and the tissue in your throat vibrates. Pure Sleep uses a technique called mandibular repositioning, which holds your jaw forward, gently opening the airway to stop your snoring.
The first night he used Pure Sleep, he stopped snoring.
Pure Sleep worked for us the very first night.
Pure Sleep is only 2 payments of $29.95 plus shipping and handling. If you're not satisfied for any reason, return it within 30 days for a full refund, including shipping and handling both ways.
Call 1-800-220-2933. That's 1-800-220-2933. Call now.
Keep your eye on 21 for the latest news and weather information from the local team that is working for you. Weekdays at 1 p.m. you can see Wave 3 News midday on Channel 21. Get the breaking news happening right now in our community and around the world. Plus the most accurate forecast from Kentuckiana's favorite weather team. Catch the day's news and weather at a time that's right for you. Wave 3 News midday, weekdays at 1 p.m. One more reason to keep your eye on 21.
Wrapping things up here on a March Madness edition of the Friday Sports Buzz. John Lewis along with John Spears from the Bissig Impact Radio Sports Network. I want to give you a reminder on 1450 tomorrow, the Sports Buzz. It's a regional basketball from Indiana. Pre-game at 11:45, tip-off at noon. Charlie Jenkins will have the call of Providence and North Decatur. Now, if Providence wins, we'll have the tip-off at 8 o'clock, pre-game at 7:45 on 1450, the Sports Buzz. All right, we had a call earlier. Terry was asking about Peyton Manning. She said she's going to have to give up on the Colts for a while because Peyton Manning is moving elsewhere. It's not going to be the Washington Redskins, though.
No, it is not. A late trade this evening. The Redskins actually have given up their next 3 #1 picks for St. Louis's #1 this year, which is the 2nd overall pick in the draft, presumably to take Robert Griffin III out of Baylor to be their quarterback, and that takes them completely out of the Peyton Manning. Is it a sweepstakes, John?
I guess
not sure what it is.
I guess it is because his services are going to be needed by probably 10 to 12 teams out there. He visited Denver today. Denver and Miami seem like those would be 2 pretty good places for him to land. Miami being that he's already has a place there. They need a quarterback. That might be a place where he could go, especially if they can make it a package deal with Reggie Wayne, something like that. And then with Denver, he could go out there and teach Tebow how to play quarterback.
Well, I think John Elway heard that he went to South Beach right after the press conference. Right. Immediately, 2 days later, sends a private plane down there to get him. Today, 6 hours with Elway, head coach John Fox, and Peyton touring the facilities. No workouts or anything like that. But it's a trip that is now going to take him to Arizona. It's going to take him to Kansas City while he's in this part of the country, and then of course he'll visit Miami, maybe 1 or 2 other teams. But again, the Redskins are out of it, and really Peyton Manning's the only guy that could allow the Denver fans to say it's okay to put Tim Tebow on the bench because he can learn from Peyton Manning. Otherwise, you're going to have a coup, I think, in Denver. John Elway, who is beloved in Denver.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's the biggest Tim Tebow fan. I don't think it's a big secret either, and he would love nothing more than to get Peyton Manning in there for just a couple of years, maybe win a title, and teach Tim Tebow how to play quarterback the way Peyton Manning plays quarterback.
Right. And how to throw would probably be a good idea.
That would help. That's a good start.
But yeah, Manning has said before he would like to stay in the AFC, which certainly I think got the interest of Miami, got the interest of Denver. There was some talk about the Cardinals being in that race, as you said, maybe the Seahawks on the outside chance, but he has not scheduled anything with the Seahawks so far. And, you know, wherever he goes, you have to think it's going to be obviously for the short term. He turns 36. He's coming off this neck surgery. Who knows if he's 50% or 60%. My contention is a 50% or 60% Peyton Manning is going to be better than 100% of a lot of quarterbacks out there.
Well, I heard some people say he should have a pro day. Now, he went to Duke University for a week. There's some grainy Zapruder film of him
right.
of him working out down at Duke from behind. Is it Peyton? It's number 8. It looks like Peyton.
Right.
But until you know that neck is ready to go, Peyton himself even said, I'm progressing. He didn't say I'm healthy. He said everything's going the way it should go and I'm progressing. I think he should have a pro day. Now, his old center, Jeff Saturday, said, no, that's a slap in the face. Yeah. But if you're going to invest this kind of money, if you're Miami or you're Denver or whoever you are, and you're going to give up this kind of money to get him for a couple of years, I want to see him. I want to see him throw. I want to see him make all the throws. I want to see him drop back. And I want to make sure that the first hit he takes in my uniform is not going to be the last hit he takes as an NFL player.
It's going to be, wherever he goes, it's going to be very weird to see Peyton Manning in a different uniform after, for 13, 14 years in Indianapolis.
And I think Miami is the front runner.
Yeah.
The Dolphins,
I agree.
They have the money. They've got an owner who wanted LeBron and wanted Dwayne Wade. And he loves to have the stars. That's why some of the owners of the Dolphins are stars, like J-Lo and people like that, Gloria Estefan.
Right.
This guy loves the big name, and Dan Marino wants him there too. And I think Peyton Manning is a guy that will listen to Dan Marino, and he's got a place there, John.
It just makes sense.
House in Indy for the off season,
right?
And a South Beach condo right on the water there.
Well, you know, that was the big news.
The weather
sure.
for him. I mean, everything works in his favor to go to Miami.
That was the big news after the news conference in Indianapolis, that he was on a plane. All the TV stations in Miami are following him, like from the airport, because they're thinking he's down here to talk, but he was really down there, I think, to decompress from everything.
And he's had a home there for years.
Right.
It's not like he just bought the condo there.
Quickly, we had a call earlier about the new Big East, Temple moving in. I think Temple brings a lot to the table, maybe more than a Boise State will or would, at least in the basketball sense. Although Temple was upset today in the A-10 tournament, I like what they did, and I like what they've done in football, turning that around. They won 9 games last year and won a bowl game.
Well, it's also it's a Philadelphia school.
Yeah.
So it's a recruiting hotbed. If you're U of L, you get to go up there once a year in football, maybe once a year in basketball, and get your foot in the door in some of those Philadelphia kids. There's millions of them right there. It's just like being in New York.
Well, and you have the Villanova contingent who they weren't happy because Villanova being there in Philadelphia felt like that they probably should have gotten some compensation from the Big East. I don't know if that's what happened or not.
Yeah, but I think Temple's a good fit for the Big East. Some of these schools I'm not sure are good fit, but Temple I think is.
All right. I think Nina may be playing us out here. Is that what we're hearing?
A 99 Red Balloon?
I think it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, apparently we're
That's a song from the last time Cincinnati and Louisville played in the tournament.
That's right. Thanks for joining us here on the Friday Sports Buzz. Have a great weekend, everybody.